Welcome to the Success Builders podcast. If you're an entrepreneur seeking motivation, inspiration, and real-world strategies to grow your business, you're in the right place. Here we believe success isn't a destination, it's a journey filled with golden nuggets of wisdom shared from one business owner to another. I'm Lizna Nel, a real estate agent, mentor, entrepreneur, and your host on this exciting path. In every episode, I'll bring you valuable insights from entrepreneurs who's been in the trenches, built their dreams, and are ready to share their secrets with you. Whether you're just starting out or looking to take your business to new heights, this is your space to learn, grow, and connect. Let's dive in and build success together. Good day to our Success Builder listeners. Today we have got a gentleman, Sean McFarlane from McFarlane Properties, associated with Spectrum Realty, who is in the southern suburbs of Cape Town. Sean, welcome. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So you've got many years in the real estate industry. I want you to take a little bit of a deep dive back. Tell us, where did real estate start for you and how did the career came about?
I guess I've been kicking around for a little bit. Look, I always wanted to start my own business. I had a couple of little side hustles when I was still in the corporate world. And because those were side hustles, they didn't really go anywhere. And at the point where I was sort of looking at doing my own thing and really giving it a proper go, my mom had been in the industry for about 20 years, and she was looking at a little bit of a change. She was also moving to a spot a little closer to me. And it kind of made sense to learn from somebody who had a lot of knowledge of the industry, a lot of skill, and had done, from any objective measure, really well in the industry. So we joined forces, and created McFarlane Properties. Obviously, we're under the banner of Spectrum, and it's been great. It's been a learning experience and very interesting. In my sort of previous job in the corporate world, I was in charge of sales and service type contact centers. So the fundamentals of what I was doing there, a real focus on customer service, but also with a little bit of a sales background, meshed quite nicely with what we've been doing in real estate. And yeah, we've worked great together and it's been amazing.
I absolutely love that. I remember a time of my life where I was a little bit jealous of people like you because I was like, if you were not born and bred into real estate, how do you get in? So that's absolutely amazing to have a mom for a mentor that is able to assist you and show you the ropes as you first started. But I also think you did it right by being in the corporate world a little bit, set the foundation. I mean, a lot of the things that we learn from those previous jobs, I find so rewarding when you come into real estate. If you think back, what would you say is one or two things that you learned in corporate that has been very handy for you now in the real estate industry?
Yeah, look, I think there's a massive amount of transferable skill, no matter what you've been doing. I think there's of what you've probably done and experienced before that you can bring into real estate. It's such a varied field, and so many things that as a real estate agent you have to do on a day-to-day basis. And it's funny, you mentioned sort of being jealous about people who have that person who've grown up in real estate. It feels like half the people I meet in real estate have joined real estate because of a relationship with somebody, a mom or a dad or a brother or a sister. It just feels like that's the way you get into it. But yeah, no, from my corporate background, I mean, there was a quite a strong focus on service and doing right by your customer. And when we looked at how businesses were running, or when we dealt with some of the issues that some customers were facing on the service side, we could take that back into the business and understand what caused those pain points and really build out processes or improve processes that focused on improving that customer journey. Because at each step, at each point, you're doing something that has an impact on the customer. There's that little moment of truth. Does that customer actually find this valuable or not? And how does that actually help them get to where they want to be? Which is sort of the crux of the matter in real estate as well. How can you help people get to where they want to be, whether it's buying or selling? So I've taken that sort of planning aspect and that idea of building something that really focuses on what my customers' needs are, and really implemented that in the real estate context.
That's amazing. Yes, I do think that real estate is the solving of problems. And the better that you can do that for the clients, buyers or sellers alike, and make the process smoother for them, the better you're doing. And I'm happy to introduce you to someone that was not born and bred into real estate. It is very true. I remember a time that I just thought everyone in real estate, if you did not have family or friends in real estate, there's no way to get into it. So I absolutely love that you said that. And I'm inquisitive. So it's been a business, McFarlane Properties, it's been around the block. Which areas do you all service? Which is your main areas that you focus on? And then point number 2 there is, where do you see 2025 go for you in the business? What's the plans?
So we focus on the southern suburbs. In fact, the genesis was my mom had moved to the southern suburbs. I live in and around that Claremont area as well. So the genesis had been to focus in that area. My mom had lived in the Helderberg area in Strand and still owned her property there. After about 2 to 3 years, just in terms of how things had panned out, it made more sense for her to move back to Strand. And so we were looking at developing a team that ran across both areas. And we often saw people looking at sort of selling here and moving out that way, or selling there and getting over this way. So there was some nice
synergy between the two. Yeah.
There was some nice hand-holding that could happen there. In the end, she's a little bit older, so she's taken a bit of a back step in the business. And so I'm really focused now in the southern suburbs area. And yeah, it's been interesting as part of the growth in Spectrum. I've also been able to take on a bit of a leadership role here. So I'm doing some training and coaching within the business itself for our agents, both experienced and guys who have come into the industry for the first time and are sort of learning the ropes, which my mom did for me. And I think it's so awesome to be able to do that for other people, because maybe was your experience as well. I've seen people through my career come into the industry and not have somebody like I had with my mom, and it's quite tough. So to be able to do that for other people is amazing. Yeah. So for 2025, so I guess since we don't really want to be talking about COVID in 2025.
Still do.
Since COVID, I'd sort of been following my database wherever it led me, taking the opportunities that came up. And the strategy for this year is really just to refocus in that core southern suburbs area. So just looking around Claremont and the adjacent suburbs. It's where I love. It's part of the Cape that I live. Sorry, it's part of the Cape that I really love and enjoy. And I know really well because I live there. My kids go to school there, in and about the area all the time. So that's really the focus area for me for this year. I've hit the ground running. I've got a few things happening there from a seller point of view, which is great. And then there are some things that I would like to do internally within the business to make the training offering that we're giving our guys here next level. And just make them great at what they're doing as well. Not that they're not great, just to add that extra level of expertise and nous to their business.
I think real estate's one of those things that you are always learning, because no transaction is the same. There's always little twists and turns, and you can just grow and develop as a person, and every time make it easier on your clients. I love that you are paying it forward in a sense with everything that you learned from the previous generation of McFarlane up to the next generation of real estate agents that are coming through. I think that's always a beautiful gift that you can give another person, is your knowledge.
Yeah, and I think that's so crucial what you said there. I think, even with my mom, before she started taking a backwards step, she'd been in the industry for, I think it was 26, 27 years by that point. So she'd seen a lot, she'd experienced a lot, she knew a lot, but there were still times where we would go into a sort of a transactional work with somebody who brought something completely new to the table. And then you have to have that open learning mindset in real estate and expect the unexpected and understand that, like you said before, we are in the problem-solving game.
Expect the unexpected. I love that. I love that, Sean. I think if you live with that motto, you're not going to be surprised in a bad way. You just have to expect the unexpected. That's an awesome thing. I really love that. And yeah, I do think that not even just real estate, where you always have to problem solve, but marketing, running a business such as your own, the tech component, AI development, the way that you reach your client base has become so different. I mean, just for me to review from 15, 20 years ago versus where we stand now with marketing, and it doesn't matter the industry that you're in, you kind of have to stay with the times and technology and make sure that the other agents around you are doing the same to be able to put yourself out there and for people to know you as their local expert.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not I mean, things feel like they're moving so quickly, right? Each day there seems to be a new app or a new toy or a new thing you can focus on. But I think fundamentally things are more similar than perhaps we realize. And I think in a world where technology is advanced to such a point where maybe you don't even need to sit in front of somebody as much as you have done in the past, or maybe you don't have to call somebody, or maybe you don't have to message them. They can be put on this little automated journey and you don't hear from them again until you are told to touch base with them at some point. I think in a world like that, the more you can touch people meaningfully, directly,
personal contact.
exactly, the more noticeable you'll become, and the more of a relationship you'll be able to build with those people, which will be fairly solid. I think, you know, we work in such a hyper-local industry. I mean, there are big brands, obviously. There's big brands with big marketing budgets that are shooting things out into the world. And I think sometimes agents look at this and think, well, I've got to do that. Or maybe to some extent they hide behind that big brand. But we are so hyper local, and we are so focused in what's really quite a small area. And we can make these personal connections, that one-to-one connections that big brands often can't. And so we can steal a march on those big brands, whatever.
Definitely. I think it's so important what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings me to what's at the back of you, their team, because I do think whether it's your team working together or whether it is you becoming a team with your clients, your buyers, your sellers, and in that process, you team members in resolving that, it's beautiful. It says integrity, excellence, innovation, and community. And those foundational beliefs and standards that you live and work by. Tell us a little bit more about that.
We really approach it as a team, as one team. Even though we are sort of disparate offices around the Western Cape and other areas in the country, you know, we try to have a unity through the meetings we attend, through the interactions we have, and you know, where we've got. And so that culture is driven by leadership, which I think is super important. Often you can have things written on the wall, like I've got behind me over here, but it's just that. It's something written down, but not actually lived on a day-to-day basis. And so often the tone is set by the leadership and how they manage and drive things. And I think we're lucky in that we've got a team here who has really driven that team ethos, where you do feel like you can have a chat to the person next door and seek help or seek knowledge, or just get a little bit of support with whatever it is you're looking for. So it's a great place to be in. As far as our clients are concerned, you know, it's for me, their needs and their wants and what they're looking to achieve through this real estate journey that we're embarking on together is crucial. And so it's less about me and more about what they want to do and how I can support that journey. And that's where you've kind of got to work as a team on that. And that is not to say that, you know, everything's going to go smoothly, or that I'm not going to say things that maybe they feel like, well, geez, that's not really what I wanted to hear. Because sometimes, even though it might not be the thing you want to hear, it's the thing you need to hear, or it's the truth of the situation. And actually, if you have all that information to hand, you'll end up making better decisions and being in a better place in the long run. So I think those crucial elements of trust and integrity play such a big role in making sure that the end result is a good one. And
definitely.
Yeah, I think if you're doing that and you're living by that, I think even though some people might decide it's not quite the way I want to go, you'll end up working with people who are on the same boat, on the same wavelength, and yeah, you can make a far better success of it through that.
100%. I think it's so important to realize that as a real estate agent, sometimes you have to have those conversations, which it's not the one you want to have, but it is the reality of the situation. And I think having built the trust and the relationship, and that close relationship of trust, as you previously mentioned, I think that's vital. And we become part of people's lives in the journey that we do with them. And later on, you're in the next phase of their life. And as they move forward, maybe to a larger property or a smaller one. And it's so nice to be able to make those friends or clients that become friends.
Yeah, and I mean, in a lot of cases, it's such a momentous thing, like buying a house. If it's the first time you're buying a house, that's huge. That's massive. It's such a big, not just emotional, but such a big financial investment as well. And whereas somebody who might be moving out of their family home, I mean, that can carry a lot of emotional weight. So we are in their lives at that point in time, and it's important to respect that and be cognizant of that, and treat it in the right way, because it's important.
Navigate through that, definitely. So Sean, if you've got to leave us before we look at where clients can get hold of you, but if you've got to leave us with one last lesson or thought, something that you can share that you think is extremely important for yourself and for the McFarlane Property Group, what would that be?
Well, I guess we've spoken a little bit about where I've come from and the support and everything that I've had in my journey and that I'm looking to impart to others. And I guess anyone starting out in real estate, I didn't always make the right decisions. Sometimes I overcomplicated things for myself and chased some of these magic things that promise to change the world for me. I would say anyone coming into the industry and starting out, find yourself somebody who has been in the industry for a while, somebody who will be a good mentor to you, keep you on the straight and narrow, will hold you accountable to the things that are actually important to do, because there's lots of things you can do that are not really that important. So you really want to work with somebody who can keep you accountable to that and really help you to identify, well, these are the crucial things that I need to do every day so that I can find people to work with. And once I found those people to work with, I can do such a great job to help them get to their next property or find their first property that we can build a relationship from there that'll allow me to grow my business. So that's kind of the fundamental of it. Focus on those things that are important and have somebody to help you through that process, if possible.
Definitely. Who you partner with, someone that's like-minded, someone that would have your best interests at heart, someone that would help you build and develop your career and into the industry. I think that's a very important message. So to all of our listeners out there, I just want to give a shout out to Sean for joining us here today. And if you want to get hold of him or anyone within his group, go look for McFarlane Properties. We will put some links and social media handles at the bottom of this episode. Sean, it was amazing to host you here today. I'm looking forward to bumping into you in the field and in the industry, and hopefully we can get to work together at some point.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite. I've really enjoyed it. And maybe we do another one of these. Maybe I'll start my own podcast and invite you on.
Exactly. Why not? That's exciting. We have to grow. We always have to challenge ourselves to new things. And that's what success builders are all about. And for me, It's not just about real estate, but it's about entrepreneurs and people that really can build their own business, make all of their dreams come true. And that's why we've got our listeners here today. So to our listeners, Thank you very much for tuning in. And we'll see you for the next episode of Success Builders. Thank you for tuning in to the Success Builders podcast. I hope you're leaving with fresh insights and a renewed spark of inspiration to take your business to the next level. Remember, success is built one step at a time, and we're here to walk that journey with you. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur who could use some motivation. And if you want to dive deeper or connect with me personally, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out on LinkedIn, Instagram, or visit liznanel.com to get in touch. Until next time, keep building, keep growing, and keep chasing that success.